This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No. Nope.
Y'all, just stop. Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Monday, everyone. We're all feeling the Mondays, aren't we?
I'm feeling good.
You're feeling good?
Yeah.
All right, send that
I had
to
a
me.
party for Kinsley this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm having a good day. She's happy. She's not sick anymore. Yeah.
Things around
on 10.
We're taking on Lindsay's energy. All right, how are you guys feeling? Really, this is sort of a general question, but we want to get your temperature on this. About the general direction our country is headed. I want you to think about this. Are you hopeful? Are you not? Well, a couple new polls show Americans are pretty pessimistic. Nearly 75% say no. They feel the nation is headed in the wrong direction. And just 21% think, yes, we're headed the right way. More than half, 58%, feel like America's best years may be already behind us. DBL Nation, this is an enormous issue, and we want to know how our viewers are feeling. Are America's best days behind it? Yes or no? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. Are we on the way down?
Happy
Lindsay?
Monday with that question. Is it over after this, Lindsay? Continue.
This is our last day. No,
What do you think?
I just, when people say this is the worst of times, I know that we had a pretty tumultuous last couple of years with everything. But when you think about the worst of times and the things that America has been through, I really look at people funny when they say this is like the worst, our democracy is coming to an end. Like, we've been through, as a country, slavery, we've been through Jim Crow laws. Specifically, it's not the worst of time for people of color.
Fair.
And so I don't
Fair.
know that, that argument stands with me when I know that I have people in my family that have been through different things that I will never go through because of them. So those times have changed and are not coming back. And every time they do show their ugly head, we're fighting tooth and nail so that we never see anything like that again. So I don't believe that we're in the worst of times.
I like your take on that. What do you think, Al?
I wouldn't say we're in the worst of times, but I am worried about where the direction we're headed. And it's because this sounds very weird, like a weird concept, but you know me.
Yes. Is there a metaphor coming?
I don't know if it's a metaphor, but just like the mentality that is pervasive in this country, and it sounds weird to say, is that the customer is always right. We're, as citizens, the customers are always right. And anybody that's worked in a restaurant knows that that's not true. Usually the customer's drunk, and being super rude. But your manager comes over and disciplines you, Lindsay, because the customer's always right. And so we as a people have constantly been told everything you do is right, everything you read is right. So now, because of the internet, you can read anything. You can read that 12% of the population are lizard people. You can read that Joe Biden is really a robot. You can read that Trump is planning to burn Venezuela. You can read all these things and no one will ever tell you you're wrong, because all of these outlets are there to sell you things. So if you believe that the election was stolen, hey, click on this website and then buy this brain powder.
But that's like one side of the coin, because the other side is that we can connect to the world in a way that we've never been able to connect with people in the history of this country or any country. We're able to see exactly what's going on in Ukraine. We're able to see exactly what people are experiencing in Russia that don't align with the values that the country is standing behind. So, it's like one of those things where social media has definitely a whole dark side, but the positives to me still outweigh the negative of social media.
They're positives, but I feel like when you're connecting to the world, but you don't have any filter for information and disinformation, is that a good thing? If you just got to remember, like, you're around my age or I'm older than you. Like, remember party lines where you could just call and like there'd just be people on the phone? Like, you would do that. I'm sorry, millennials and Gen Z.
No, you go.
But like, if you were on the phone and you're hearing 10 different people who have no basis for what they're saying, some might be right, some might be wrong. But if you can't filter out, like, this person's like, Lindsay, come on down and meet me in this alley, and you're like, okay, the guy on the phone said it. You need to have some kind of filter, and I don't think that we've been taught to critically think as Americans and look at not only the information that we're getting, but why we are getting it. Why are we getting it?
I appreciate both of that. I agree with you, first off, that the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, people were eating leather and rocks. That was a pretty bad time. We had wars. People were rationing butter and silks. That was a pretty bad time. Women, people of color, Irish, Italian, Jews, not a great time at the turn of the century. However, what it means to lose democracy is what I believe in what you said, is that when we aren't looking at the same reality, like you think 2 + 2 is 5, and I think 2 + 2 is 4, and there's a problem with a transfer of power, which is the idea of our country, of peacefully transferring power, we will end up in a crisis. And that's where I'm worried. It's not, I get the social, economic, the cultural, we'll all swing back. But when you talk about the Constitution, how the big lie has been legitimized, that to me is where we're going two different directions. Did this make a lot of sense
It
to you?
did.
Yeah.
It did.
Because what will happen is what people want to know is what will happen after that if nothing is believable. The election's not believable.
Exactly.
The presidency's not believable. Then you have this like chaos. Everybody does what they want.
And that sort of brings in Al's point of view of then anyone's right in their own way, and there's no actual fact there. So I think that's really interesting. Let's take a look at the polls. Are America's best days behind it? 56% of you say yes. No, 44% of you say no. Okay, let's think about what the #1 issue facing the country is. Another poll says that the growing threat to democracy is the most important issue, like I was speaking about. The cost of living came in second. And look at this, 57% of respondents say that investigations into former President Trump should continue. So what do you think out there? Should these investigations continue? What is America's biggest issue, Al?
Well, as for the investigations, I don't know. It goes back to what we were saying. If you believe that Trump is being persecuted, I don't think any investigation. I do think the January 6th Commission did do some work, but I think most people think that however they feel about Trump is how they're going to stay. When you talk about where we are and where we're headed in terms of our biggest issue, I look at cost of living, Lindsay, because there is just a pervasive feeling of uneasiness with families where you were told, Lindsay, go to college, get a husband or get a partner, whatever, raise your kid, everything will be taken care of. And now people don't feel like that. People are like, I did what you said. Now I have insurmountable debt. Now I don't know if my husband's job will give him insurance anymore. I don't feel like people feel confident in their living situation day to day. And I don't think you can have a citizenry that can live like that. So I wonder, like, what are your thoughts?
Right. I mean, it's such a dramatic swing from the pandemic when people who were lucky enough to still be working were in surplus. And so the supply and the demand weren't matching up. People were buying homes in record numbers. And now you have people that can't even afford homes just simply because of inflation, and home sellers that can't even get their home off their hands because of how much people are trying to lowball them because it's just not adding up right now. So I think we're just in a different space where people need to worry about what's right in front of them. And I think a lot of people are concerned about what happens with President Trump and are concerned about the climate and other things in our country. But day to day, it's kind of like, okay, how am I paying for preschool? And so that's what I think people are worried about.
How am I getting milk? Yeah. I don't have kids, so I have a hard time saying that. I understand cost of living and all of that. For me, if we don't have a basis of all this, like a house of cards without a floor, we got nothing. I mean, we got nothing.
I agree, because if you think about like a football game, let's say that
the metaphor came in.
Before the game starts, if the coach for the Giants says it doesn't matter because the game is rigged. Well, what does that do? What does that do before we've even kicked off? And what if he said that every week? What would happen to Giants fans? They would say, well, there's no chance because and there's no chance anyway, they're terrible. But
excuse me. Or in New York, at least I can hold it down for them.
I'm giving you the jet. But like, we have to have a core basis of values for us to move forward. And if half of us think that this is rigged against them and there's a cabal of people working against them, they're not going to move as fast or in lockstep with the rest of us. And some people are going to be left behind, and it's going to cause conflict.
Agreed?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's what I agree. If we're not speaking the same language, I'm speaking French and you're speaking English, and we're trying to have a conversation and it's not working out, there will be at some point confusion, discombobulation, and at some point chaos, anarchy.
There's Babel. You can like get an app now.
Yeah, and you can also like probably work it out with charades. But I just mean at some point we all have to have the same American values about what
have we ever though? I asked with 10 seconds
or the same truth.
The same reality.
The truth has to be the truth.
Yeah, right. We can argue, but at least the 2 + 2 for everyone was 4 at one point. That's what I'm worried about.
We got a lot to talk about in the break.
Yeah, we do. Coming up on DBL, a man who lives on the edge more than most.
Is it me?
It's not at all. It's Colin Obrady. He conquered a walk across Antarctica alone, not letting setbacks get in the way. And Ben and Jen, or as I like to say, Balo, say I do again. We've got all the romantic details from their second wedding.
Closed captioning provided by.
I think it is one of those stories we're all going to be like, what?
Who raised you?
Why am I right all the time?
Welcome to another week of Jeff Smutz.
Am I going crazy?
Yeah, really?
We are live.
All right. So Gabriel Garcia says America's going through some growing pains. You're absolutely right. By the way, did you know the Queen of England has been reigning of England a sixth of our time that U.S. has even been around?
Yeah, but she's not reigning. She's just there.
She's reigning. She worked with from Churchill to freaking the
She has
newest
no
guy.
power.
With that,
She
with
does.
that calm energy, I know what Al's saying. She kind of just is like,
Yeah, she just.
I know a lot of people think she's just a figurehead, but I do think she's calmed down England in times of war.
How does she calm them down?
By being the
By
face
putting on a hat
of the
and getting in a
stiff
car?
upper lip.
don't
stiff,
get me started.
stiff
Where's
upper lip.
Stephanie?
No other monarch has ever lasted this long, ever. She owns a seventh of the Earth's entire land.
Huh?
Yeah, that was stolen through colonization.
It definitely
You shouldn't
was.
own it.
Yeah, that's a whole other
That's
conversation.
that's
Yes,
totally
Karen is
called.
standing there
Oh, I'm so
patiently.
sorry.
Just have a
I didn't
little
see you.
note.
Yes.
It's okay. For the,
Yeah, I don't want to hear about them owning it.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
Because I was one time, my friends and I were in Ethiopia, and they were saying how this beautiful structure was like tilted because England stole it and they got it back like on some like whatever, however way they transferred it, and so they had to put it back like because they pulled it out of the ground sloppily. And I'm like, what is happening?
That's why I'm like, I don't know how they made history so boring in high school.
Yeah, like, how did
history
you steal
is
that?
so interesting.
Yeah,
It's
how
like
did you
way
steal
more
that
interesting than
whole
anything else.
cement structure? I know.
Now I'm interested in it, and I don't know.
Well, I think they made it boring.
did you see this? He also
I taught science, which was, it's weird teaching science in public school because like we didn't have equipment, so we couldn't like do chemical, Bunsen burners and scissors and things like that. That was not,
Bunsen burners
that's
was
not a
classic.
thing.
Tiffany, do you know what a Bunsen burner is? Oh, you do.
She said, "Don't play with me."
Welcome back. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are married again. Oh my. The couple said I do for a second time at Ben's estate in Georgia over the weekend. Jen wore a Ralph Lauren dress with a long 20-foot veil, and Ben wore a white tux jacket and black pants. Guests included Ben's buddy Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel, and director Kevin Smith, who posted this pic wearing his signature shorts, jacket, and baseball cap, which was the dress code for the ceremony, which is all white. Everyone had to wear white.
It's like the Tom Joyner cruise.
Yo.
Isn't it? You've never seen that many 50-year-old black folks getting off in white linen pants.
Oh my God. It's like the P. Diddy white party.
Up next, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
But the weekend wasn't without drama. We had 2 ambulances they were seen leaving the property. On Friday, Ben's mom reportedly hurt her leg. I think she fell and needed stitches. And a man went to the hospital on Saturday, but it's unknown why. He was picked up from the wedding.
I
From
always
the
get
open
freaked
bar?
out when stuff happens because I'm like, are these bad omens? Like,
Did you take it like that?
everything that happens on a day that I don't want it to happen. Like even Kinsley not feeling well on her actual birthday, I was really sad. I was like, oh my gosh,
It's a
what does this
sign.
mean as a mom? No, she was fine on this weekend. So, but it means so much in that moment.
Totally.
Now, Lindsay, I wanted to ask you because I was looking at Kevin Smith's outfit. Would that bother you if somebody showed up with jorts on?
You know
to your
what?
wedding, even
I
though
would-
it's all white.
I would
with the backwards
excuse.
hat.
I would excuse. He tried it with the double-breasted vest underneath it. So
Agreed.
he definitely he attempted something there. So I wouldn't be mad at him.
And that's
honestly.
very Kevin Smith, let's be honest. I'd be weirded out if Kevin Smith was wearing pants.
Really?
Yes.
To a wedding?
Yes, he's very cash.
But isn't that taking away? Okay, I just thought it was taken away from their moment.
Al's hurt by Kevin Smith's outfit. As we mentioned, Ben's bestie, Matt Damon, was at the wedding, but one person was missing from the event. Ben's brother, Casey Affleck. He was seen leaving a Starbucks in Los Angeles on Saturday, and when asked why he wasn't at the wedding, he said he fell asleep.
Wow.
People magazine said he didn't attend due to family obligations.
Wasn't the family
The
at the
family
wedding?
was there.
He said he was at his son's soccer game, I think. Casey did post this throwback pic on Instagram, writing, quote, "Good things are worth waiting for. Welcome to the family. Get ready for some real dysfunction." Kidding. Jen, you are a gem. We love you so much.
That picture is the worst. He could have found any picture
All
from
of that
Getty
is bad.
Images.
All
Lindsay,
of
what do
that
you
is
take
bad.
from that?
I don't know. I'm not somebody
Colin's
that's
brother
just
posted
right.
that.
I'm
What
not,
would you think?
and I'm not somebody that holds my tongue. So Colin's brother and I, which he doesn't, there's nobody for me to have this conversation with, would have a very direct conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Like, are you dumb? It would
Like-
start there.
Yeah, like
Does
that's
this-
crazy.
Does this
That's-
not look like all the signs you were saying. That's a bad sign. There's something there, right, between the
And
brothers.
then they said that was a paparazzi photo. That wasn't even.
That's
like
a terrible picture. Like, out of all the beautiful pictures of J-Lo, especially,
Yeah.
why?
It
Just
looks
why?
like they stayed up all night. That's what it looks like when you come back to your house at 6:30 in the morning. You're like, well, today's done.
And then
I'll be
welcome
getting
into
up.
dysfunction. Kidding? Like, come on.
I just feel like a lot of passive aggression.
Yeah, and I hate passive aggression. Just be direct.
Just say
Go ahead,
it.
be rude.
Yeah.
Right. And he's saying it's a family affair.
That was very strange, and I think I was surprised, especially as media savvy as J-Lo is, that she had to have known that he probably
That's a
wasn't coming,
great call.
that they didn't get out in front of this.
That's a great
because
call.
There's no way that that's his.
What could
brother.
they say?
Well, here's the thing. Casey Affleck has
We know our
had-
brother's not coming?
Well, they've had
Something. You got something. That's
or
what
we know
PR
he
is
had
for.
previous engagement. I will say he has been claimed to have some sexual harassment issues. He was not there to present at Best Actress when he came in. Remember, he won for The Manchester by the Sea. Was that it?
That's it.
And he was not asked or didn't show up for the Oscars. So there's some weird buzz, and I'm wondering, did J-Lo not want that at her wedding?
Her second wedding.
Her second wedding.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought that was like such a weird look. And for the post, if you're not going to show, even if you have your publicist do it, you need to write a heartfelt, I can't believe I'm not there for you, brother, but I'm so happy. But it's not like, Lindsay's dysfunctional, just kidding.
Or,
Like,
or
what is
silence
that? What
also
is that
speaks
post?
volumes. You could just be quiet.
That's exactly.
Follow Beyonce and Jay-Z. I
Don't
always
go to
say that.
Starbucks that day.
Yeah. Maybe stay home.
Postmates.
Coming up on DBL, a man who became the first person to make a solo trip across Antarctica is
it me?
continuing to. Have you been to Antarctica?
I don't remember.
To inspire others. How he's managed to change his mindset to achieve the impossible. I think you would remember.
The Democrats' new law to address climate change is called the Inflation Reduction Act, and it includes a $7,500 tax credit for people who buy electric vehicles. There already was such a credit on the books, but this law changes which cars are eligible, and a lot of Verify viewers asked us to look into those changes. So let's verify. Are all electric vehicles eligible for the new tax credit? Our sources: the full text of the Inflation Reduction Act, the 2008 law that created the old tax credit, and Consumer Reports. The existing EV tax credit had a significant limitation. Only 200,000 credits were available to each manufacturer. So once that number was hit, no more buyers could get the credit for that brand of car. The new law removes that cap. Good news for popular brands like Tesla that haven't been eligible for years. But there are a lot of new restrictions as well. First, only cars that are assembled in North America are eligible. According to Consumer Reports, that rules out some companies that make their EVs abroad, like Hyundai, Toyota, and Kia. Second, it rules out the most expensive models. Trucks, vans, and SUVs are only eligible if they cost 80 grand or less. Sedans and other cars have to be under 55 grand. That rules out some popular luxury vehicles like the Tesla Model S and Porsche Taycan. Third, there's an income cap on taxpayers. Couples have to earn 300 grand a year or less to get the credit. Individuals, 150,000 or less. And finally, there are requirements about where the EV batteries are made and where the minerals in them get mined. There's a list of companies, including a bunch in China, that automakers are banned from contracting with at all. And in the first year this law takes effect, 2023, at least 40% of the minerals and 50% of the other components of the battery have to be from the US or its free trade partners. And those percentages go up every year. So while the Inflation Reduction Act does expand the EV tax credit, we can verify, no, not all electric vehicles will be eligible for it.
Welcome back. Close your eyes. Imagine walking across Antarctica in deathly cold temperatures while pulling a 375-pound sled. We talked with Colin Obrady, who did that and so much more. Take a look. Welcome to the show, Colin. It's so good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So, Colin, your adventures started all after you were seriously burned in Thailand. So how do you go from not being able to wear normal shoes to being a professional triathlete?
Yeah, you know, it was a long road. I was told I would never walk again normally after being burned in a fire in Thailand, but my incredible mother actually got me through it. She had instilled with me what I call in my new book, The 12-Hour Walk, a possible mindset, an empowered way of thinking that unlocks a life of limitless possibilities. So I focused on getting out of that bed, taking those first steps, and eventually raced my first triathlon, won it, and here I am 15 years later with 10 world records.
In your book, you said your intuition ended up saving your life when you decided not to continue climbing to the summit of K2. So now, what was that like making that decision in the moment, and how does it feel now looking back?
You know, it was an incredibly tough call. You know, I've kind of made my career on the guy who can push through and persevere, you know, walking solo across Antarctica for 54 days, you know, setting numerous world records and other difficult things. So it's interesting to be in another very difficult, hard spot, high on K2, 24,000 feet. You know, it's minus 70 degrees out in the night. Nothing really going wrong, but something told me inside that I should turn around. Obviously, it's still a deep wound for me. I lost 5 friends out there on that expedition, but turning back definitely saved my life.
Let's talk about your book, The 12-Hour Walk. It was inspired by your 12-hour treks to cross Antarctica. What pushed you to keep going for that long?
Yeah, so I was out there for 54 days alone, trying to become the first person to make the crossing. And I literally got to the other side on my last bite of food. So if I hadn't gone 12 hours every single day, and I was already beat up, my ribs were sticking out, my hip bones were sticking out. I was very exhausted and tired. I was completely out of resources and supplies. So going back 50 days, if I gone any shorter, I wouldn't have made it to the end. Wow. But those 12 hours every single day in stillness and silence, even though my body was declining, my mind got stronger and sharper. I found this deep levels of clarity, fulfillment, joy, love, empathy. And that's really what I bring back to people with the 12-hour walk. So the 12-hour walk, the book, edge of your seat storytelling, it'll entertain you. If you love adventure, you love Shackleton, you love the book. But it also has a call to action that invites people to take a walk of their own. It is completely free to join, 12hourwalk.com, and it's an amazing movement that I'm really proud to be starting.
That's so interesting. The 12-hour walk now, you say, must be done alone. You have to do it without your phone. What do you say to people who think it's just unrealistic to be unplugged that long? I can't do it. I can't do it.
So you can have your phone with you, but the phone is in airplane mode. I've also built an app that can help track your walk, so you have it with you for safety. But the whole point is to take that walk alone in stillness and silence. You can take as many breaks as you want. So this literally is for everyone. You don't have to train for it, but you do have to commit to the 12 hours in stillness and silence. And for the person that's asking, I can't do this, the entire book is about the limiting beliefs we all have. So these excuses we have in our mind. I'm not strong enough. What if I fail? I don't like being uncomfortable. You know, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. These are the limiting beliefs that are holding us back in our day-to-day life. So often the excuses people apply to the 12-hour walk, I tell them I'm holding up a mirror because you're actually having those same excuses throughout your life.
So one of the chapters in your book is about how failure is something that we all have to embrace. So do you have a memory of one of the failures that sticks out the most to you?
Yeah, I love to tell people I sit here with 10 world records and New York Times bestselling author, thinking of these accolades, but that's only built on the back of so many failures, so many trials and tribulations. When I say I got burned in a fire, it wasn't an accident. I actually myself jumped the flaming jump rope and lit myself on fire. So I would say that is a massive failure as a young person to just make such an egregious mistake that almost tragically ended my life. So look, I have made mistake after mistake after mistake, but I love to say it's failure plus perseverance that equals success. So I've learned so much through my failures, and I encourage people to get out there, take those risks. Maybe don't jump a flaming jump rope, but take a risk in a manageable way that allow you to learn and grow.
Colin, unbelievable story and so inspiring for so many of our viewers. Thanks so much for joining us. DBL Nation, go pick up a copy of his book, The 12-Hour Walk, wherever books are sold, and get out your front door. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
16 states in the U.S. are battling at least one active wildfire. People who live near fires are encouraged to stay indoors to avoid breathing air contaminated with smoke because it can irritate your eyes, nose, and throat and lead to long-term health problems. Oregon officials recommend running your air conditioning if you have one. But can air conditioners really filter out smoke from wildfires? Let's verify. Our sources are the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, and the Environmental Protection Agency. You'll probably see the most smoke in the air while a fire is actively burning, but CARB says smoke and the pollutants it contains can linger in the air for weeks or even months, depending on the weather and size of the fire. The EPA recommends keeping the windows closed to limit how much smoke gets into your home, but even then, smoke can still get inside through bathroom and kitchen fans that vent to the outside, or through small openings and cracks around windows and doors. This is where our sources say a window or split system AC can help, because they do not pull in air from the outside. Instead, they cool indoor air by first running it through a filter. Filters are rated from 1 to 16 on a scale called MERV. A higher number means the filter is more effective at catching toxins, like those found in smoke. The American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers tells Verify you'll need a filter with a MERV rating of at least 13 to help during wildfire conditions, and you'll need to replace it at least every 2 days because it will be catching a lot of particles. So, yes, air conditioners can filter out wildfire smoke from within your home if you use high enough grade filters and replace them frequently. The EPA also suggests people who live in wildfire-prone areas ensure there's a tight seal between window ACs and the window. Those who don't have AC can use a portable air cleaner to help filter during wildfires. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis. After more than 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic and the rising concerns about monkeypox, some people are looking for ways to stop the spread of illness and disease in their home. Some social media users say they use bleach to clean their homes and have also accidentally used other products, causing a dangerous reaction. So, let's verify. Is it safe to mix bleach with other household cleaners? Our sources are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the American Cleaning Institute, the Clorox Company, and the health departments for Utah and Washington State. Many non-bleach products are made with ammonia, and the Washington and Utah health departments say when they're mixed with bleach, they can produce a toxic chlorine gas. Clorox and the CDC warn the combination can be deadly when inhaled and to seek medical help immediately if you experience any symptoms. It's not just ammonia products that can be a problem. Other cleaning products are made with acids like vinegar, which can also be toxic to breathe when mixed with bleach. So, no, it is not safe to mix bleach with other household cleaners. The American Cleaning Institute says it's safest to just use bleach on its own, as directed on the label, and to always wear gloves and to properly ventilate the room.
DBL Nation, we make the show for you. Your feedback is more important than ever to us. That's why we've created a short survey. So to complete this survey, simply go to dailyblastlive.com/survey or scan the QR code on the screen right now with your camera phone. Your opinion matters to us. We hope you'll take just a few minutes to share your thoughts. We want to hear from you. Now, before we go quickly, this year's winner has been crowned in the kid mullet competition.
How did we say this for the last 3?
I don't know. Yes, that's a thing. Here is 8-year-old Emmett Bailey, who has this amazing blonde mullet with a fun little mohawk in the front and long curls in the back. Here he is along with the 2nd and 3rd place winners in this year's kids mullet competition.
I'm mad because I have those glasses, so I gotta grow up.
You have those glasses?
Yeah, they're cool, but they're cool for kids.
How do you have those glasses?
Yes.
And quickly, I think I have a picture of myself in a mullet. Can I see? Yes.
There you go.
Whoa.
You actually
it's kind
look
of
like
flat.
a
You gotta like
mom.
pump it up. Yeah.
Not good. Bye, guys.